Big up American Redact. Bryan Callen exposes himself while defending Epstein. Yeah, let's do this one. Big up American Redact.
Here's the problem. This is why if you're featured in the Epstein files for so long, it's not that you're trying to get laid. It's because, hold on, let me see this for a second.
What?
It's because this guy was fucking with 14-year-olds. Okay, so sorry, and you got
There's some 9-year-olds in there.
Yeah, there's even younger.
I'll move to you guys. Hold on. Hey, she was 14, guys. Can you get the right?
Oh no, this is just one example.
Dude, there's
this is just one.
so many.
Yeah.
Brian,
And I mean-
come on, she was 14. What is your take today? What the fuck is going on?
All right, so it looks like one of Joe Rogan's BFFs, Bryan Callen, who's allegedly a predator himself, is unsurprisingly defending Jeffrey Epstein and excusing the people who hung out with him after his initial arrest in 2008, stating that, you know, in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was completely normal to date a 16-year-old girl as a 40-year-old man, and that you'd commonly see teenage girls as young as 16 years old in bars and clubs in New York, which not only is later proven to be completely untrue, but at the very same time, it exposes him as the slimy predator that he always has been. Like, let's not forget that this is the same guy who allegedly told his 23-year-old girlfriend at the time that girls had the biological, primal desire to be raped. And when he allegedly said this, he was 40-something years old with another wife and family.
Please
That's
understand.
why they're there.
Yeah, if you think that 15 and 16-year-old models that who were also on the cover of this, that, and the other thing, people like Kate Moss, do you think back in the 90s anybody was checking ID? Do you think back in the 90s anybody was saying, hey, that girl, like, she's 15? I hate to tell everybody. I hate to tell, but the order of the day, it was a creepy fucking era.
There's a song, She's Only 17.
Calvin Klein's models were 15 and 16, dude. It's like, so
yeah, but this
so
is
now
also
everybody's like,
2000. This is 2000s though, too.
even then, Bubba, even then before everybody was looking.
Here's what I will say.
I'm not saying.
I don't like this take either, dude.
I'm just telling you how it was. Here's what I'm trying to say.
I think they knew.
Here's what I'm trying. The majority of those girls who were models who came to New York, as young as 13, who were supposed to be looked over. Okay. I promise you, probably 50 to 60% of them have a story about how they were 16 dating a 32-year-old. How they were 16
dating. Honestly, Callen. Honestly, this is going to be one of the worst podcasts of all time. The worst, the best and worst.
Dating a 45-year-old. You know why? Because it was fucking accepted.
So right off the bat here, I think it's safe to say that Bryan would have happily swam to Epstein's Island if he had the
Yo, big up Wild Fan. 2 Days to Try has a good vid on it. We'll play that next. Big up Wild Fan. We'll play that next.
chance, as he's reaching as far as humanly possible to defend his mega-rich, ultra-elite friends that he surrounds himself with in Austin, Texas.
I don't think he's doing it to protect his friends. He's doing it because it affects him. That's why I don't think people are mistaken. He's not saying what he's saying because he wants to defend his friends. He's saying what he's saying because he feels, naturally so, because of his own allegations levied against him, because of his previous statements, it kind of triggers him. It triggers him and he wants to defend it. That's why he's doing it. It's not for his friends. It's all selfish. He's protecting his own self. But he's also exposing himself.
Here. Like the fact that he's making Brendan Schaub look like the most logical one in the room just shows you how insane Bryan sounds here. And you can tell that he genuinely thinks he's being devil's advocate in this conversation, but the more Bryan insists that it was completely normal to be dating literal 16-year-old sophomores in high school back in the 90s, the more you start to wonder what this guy has actually...
That's a great picture, man. That's a great picture. That's a great picture because he looks very, very rapey and creepy there. That's a great picture. That is a great picture to use. Big up American Redact.
Seen. Like Calln literally says that it was a social norm to see underage girls get trafficked back in the day, stating that he's even seen it himself.
But here,
buddy.
Hey,
dude,
can I give you just a little take as a guy in New York? I wasn't in the scene, I wasn't famous, but I saw like you would see. This is how things.
What? Underage.
Worked in New York City. Young women were trafficked as an order of the day back in the day. So like it's again, don't be surprised that this shit was happening. Don't be surprised. It was socially accepted.
I love how he calls his ex-wife to kind of like back up his story because she was a fucking famous model back in. It's like, no, that didn't happen in America at all. What are you talking about? It's just completely normal for his men to be with children. It's like, no, not the parties that I went to. Maybe your ones. You know what I mean?
That's what nobody's talking about.
What was socially accepted?
What was socially
Girls
acceptable?
being in a club?
So if you were 40 back then and you showed up with an 18-year-old and you walked into a room, that was socially acceptable. If I'm going to say this, I think this is the case.
What?
If you were like some famous actor,
okay,
and you show up with a top model, okay, who happened to have been 16, 17, back in the day, in the 90s, so I guarantee nobody said shit. You know what they said? They do it in Europe.
What? What? Maybe your group of people said that, but I'm sure people in the 90s that looked at that as weird, as creepy, as pedo type shit. They do it in Europe. Excuse me?
I'm just telling you, that's how that shit went down, man. That's how that shit went down.
Right after that, he also says that Jerry Seinfeld's 17-year-old girlfriend back then was, quote, blown out, which makes Brendan Schaub and the guest on the podcast super weirded out, as if they're just now starting to realize that Bryan Callen is exactly what his accusers say he is.
17-year-old Shoshana Lonstein.
There you go. Now, hold on.
When he was 38. So that's older than me with a high school girl.
Now, to my point, thank you very much. Now, Shoshana Lonstein, have you ever seen what she looked like? She was so blown out, it was crazy. Now,
he's got a daughter that was the same age as she. Like, what? So if your daughter looks like a child and she's with an older man, it's bad. But if your daughter looks like an adult, she's with an older man, it's okay.
What do you mean blown out?
She was like, bring her up when she was 17. It was like my friend was there and he was like, man.
Whoa.
And alive. Now, she was 17.
Bryan, I love you. Stop it.
No, I'm saying she was 17. She was 17 and he was 39. And what would happen right now? We'd all be like, are you out of your mind? Guess what? Nobody
go to regular pictures of her chin.
Nobody batted an eye, everybody.
This might just be the absolute worst hill to die on for a guy who's accused by 4 separate women of sexual misconduct, which, when you revisit that, is still completely horrifying. Like, it's almost like people forget that Bryan allegedly lured a woman to his home after a friendly dinner, pinned her onto his bed, and penetrated her while she repeatedly told him no, allegedly telling her that she's gonna, quote, love this and that she's his girlfriend now.
That is true. Truly goes to show you that life isn't fair. In all actuality, I think it helps that he's not that famous, Bryan. I think it helps that he's not that famous. But like, come on, man. Some of these allegations, the way the women the women describe what he said, allegedly what he did. It sounds like Callen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you've watched enough TFATK, if you see enough of these, you know what I mean? You kind of get how his humor is and whatever else it may be. It sounds exactly like something that he would do. So, you know, it's fair to say that the probability of him being guilty of those things that people have alleged is maybe high. You know, it's really high.
Then after the whole thing, he allegedly said to her, "What am I, a big bad rapist?" There's also another allegation of Bryan pushing a store employee against the wall.
That's the worst one, by the way. I don't like. You could tell me now, right? In a weird way, because Callen's fucked up, right? If he tried to say, "Oh, the girls I was into," because I think one of the rape allegations is with a woman that he was in a relationship with, right? So maybe the lines are blurred there. Who knows? I don't agree. Still, I think, you know, consent is consent. Doesn't matter who you're with. Doesn't matter if the person. I mean, like, you don't do that shit. But let's just say, right? Let's just say you excuse the rape allegations. Let's just say for 1 minute you park that. This allegation of him pinning a fucking sales assistant, you know, chasing her around the fucking store with his panties. I believe this one 100%. 100%. This is still horrible. This is a career ender, really. But here he is still yapping away.
All in a fitting room, closing the curtain and kissing her on her neck without her consent. And of course, Bryan's denied all these allegations, but regardless, you can tell this guy's just an absolute creepy sex pest. I mean, even Whitney Cummings has a story about Bryan Callen exposing his parts to her in his car without her consent, which seems to be true since Callen didn't even deny it when she was telling the story right in front of him.
It was only like 7:30 and you were like, can I get a ride in my car? And I was like, sure. And you got in the car and I literally like turned the wheel like to like look where I was going, and I turned around and your dick was out.
See what happens when you defend Jeffrey Epstein. See what happens when you defend Jeffrey. See what happens when you defend Jeffrey Epstein. See what happens when you defend Epstein. Now look what people are doing. Now look what they're digging up.
Hey, the old peekaboo.
So now that you're up to speed with the guy's past and all of the horrifying accusations against him, when you listen to him trying to defend Epstein and all the elites that hung out with him, it really makes you realize where he's coming from.
They're not a good time.
Oh yeah, talking about coming. Big up Dabs McGee. I forgot about that. Callen slept with any girl Rogan didn't want back in the day. Exactly. Do you remember that story Rogan shared to Eric Weinstein, who was sitting there weirdly, like awkwardly? Rogan shared that story about, oh yeah, this girl. Let's see if I can do it. See, this is a horrifying clip, by the way. Horrifying. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Let's see if I can find it here. Joe Rogan, Bryan Callen, Gail. I don't know. Finished in me or something. I don't know. I don't know right what you said. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Here we have it. Do you remember this? Do you remember this story? Do you remember this story? Do you remember
that? He's so silly. Like most of his podcasts that he does, other than with me and him have pretty cool podcasts. Well, we've known each other forever. We've been best friends since 1994.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean,
that guy smart.
I love him so much that I broke up with this girl, and Bryan, she was calling me because she was horny. And I was like, look, I have a new girlfriend, but I have a friend who'll fuck you, and he's just like me. And so I sicked Bryan on my ex-girlfriend, and he fucked her. One of the funniest conversations I ever had with an ex-girlfriend, she calls me up, she goes, your friend came inside me. And I went, what? She goes, yeah, your fucking friend came inside me. And I was like, well, did you tell him that you were on the pill? She goes, no, I'm not on the pill. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, that's Bryan.
What the fuck? I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Bryan Callen guilty. Holy fuck, man. Holy fuck. And big up Rogan too, knowing him since 1994. Love that. Jesus Christ.
Probably looked at by most people back then as the guy who had the in with all the hottest girls in New York. That's how he marketed himself, right?
Pre-2008,
and now,
you could
now
say
you've
that.
got an island. If you get on the plane to the island, in the real world, girls were getting, back in the day, would get married at 16 to a 40-year-old. And that was all over the place. Now, am I advocating for that? No. No.
It sounds like you are, man. It sounds like you are.
Oh, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is that shit was done all the time. There are more women than not who were models, who were in New York, who have a story about being 16 and dating.
Big up Warren Kenneka. Oh no, big up Warren Kenya. Big up Warren Kenya. How do I keep entering the chat at these moments? Apologies. He just walked into that Rogan conversation.
Being a 40-year-old. And that's a fact. And you know why I know that? Saw it. All of us did.
Whoa. What did you see? What did you see, mate?
Nobody talked about it, but it was like, well, I don't know what's going on there.
Another thing that makes this defense of Bryan strange is that he's one of, if not the closest friend to Joe Rogan, who is also backtracking and defending Epstein and all his buddies that appear to have been close to the monster himself, even after his first conviction in 2008.
That's a very specific illicit desire to want underage people.
Well,
underage people. It's a crazy term, isn't it? Underage people.
How do you even find out that someone's into that?
So this could very well be Bryan just parroting the same talking points that he and Rogan agreed to sound off about publicly before talking about it on their podcasts. Like Joe Rogan apparently spoke with Donald Trump on February 1st.
Big up Assad Aziz. 5 out of 10 story. I like the ending though. Looking forward to hearing it in Joe's next special.
First over the phone, with Trump saying that he spoke to Rogan about the ongoing ICE crackdowns and all, but I feel like you could also assume that Trump briefly spoke to Rogan about how he should address the Epstein stuff and all that too.
Joe Rogan was one of your biggest endorsers in 2024. He said he understood the president's sort of plan to deport people here who are here illegally, but he also understands why critics compare ICE officers to the Gestapo asking people for their papers. What's your response to him?
Well, look, first of all, he's a great guy. We had a tremendous success before the election. I think it was his biggest interview ever, and over 300 million people. It was very good. She didn't want to do it, you know. She decided not to do it because she's not capable. But I spoke to him 3 days ago. We had a great conversation. And all I'm doing, I have to keep.
Did he mention this to you? Did you guys talk about this, the ICE enforcement?
Yeah. Just had a good conversation. I think he's a great guy, and I think he likes me too.
Yeah.
So the fact that Trump's...
Jesus Christ, man. Fucking hell. So Rogan's calling Trump to reassure him, so he can reassure him that the ICE raids aren't as bad as what they look like on clips. Is that what he's trying to do? He's trying to get reassurance from the guy. That's initiating this, right? That's like what? Like, please, Trump, tell me what I'm seeing isn't real. Tell me you're not just killing American citizens in cold blood on the streets. Please, tell me this isn't real. Fucking hell, Rogan, man. Fucking hell.
Spoke to Rogan on the phone just confirms that Rogan's an official mouthpiece of the administration now. And Rogan most likely spoke to Callen about it all too, as they're best friends forever at the end of the day. But tracing back to Callen's defense of Epstein here, by far the funny...
Fucking hell, Rogan's tiny, innit? He makes Callen look tall here, innit? Rogan is tiny, he makes Callen look tall.
...now. And Rogan most likely spoke...
Yeah, Rogan must be so short because Callen isn't tall. Callen ain't tall at all, but he makes him look tall with how short he is.
Spoke to Callen about it all too, as they're best friends forever at the end of the day. But tracing back to Callen's defense of Epstein here, by far the funniest part about Bryan saying that it was normal in New York to date 16-year-olds is that it all gets thrown out the window by his ex-wife, who he claims was the person who knew about all the underage disgustery that went down in New York prior to even meeting Bryan.
Like, I want to call my first wife right now and ask her. I want to ask her one question. I want to say, when you were 16, was it hard to get into a club? She was a big model.
But of course not.
Whoa.
Yeah, but she's got such an inside look on this stuff. Watch this.
And so when he calls her on the phone, she literally says that none of that went down in New York ever. And the only times she saw that happening was in Europe, which completely shoots down everything Bryan was saying before this.
Let's just have a conversation with her about how fucked up that world was.
No, we all know.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement, B.
Hello. Now you were a big model in New York.
Oh my God, shut up.
I know, but you were a big model in New York.
Shut up.
And how old were you when you first went to New York?
24.
Okay, so did you know girls who were as young as 16 who were modeling in New York?
Not New York, but overseas, yes.
Overseas. And those, okay, and so...
Hold on. Also, I just realized this. Didn't he say in the clip before that his ex-wife was in clubs when she was 16 in New York, modeling or something? She gets on the phone and says, when you moved to New York, how old were you? 24. Didn't you say she was 16 when she went there? But she wasn't. She was like, what? So what the fuck's he even talking about? Was he just trying to use his wife as an ex-wife as an excuse? So he was the one that was in. It was actually Calln that was in those clubs allegedly with these 16-year-olds. You know that he was trying to use his wife as like no.
It when in New York, we were talking about this Epstein thing, right? This Epstein thing, and so
getting anyone in trouble? What's happening?
No, we're on a podcast, but I was just trying to say that New York back in the day was all sex for sale. It was all insanity.
Mostly Europe. Because like when I lived in Milan.
So yeah, just a super weird hill to die on here for Bryan. Not really surprising though, especially since he's in this circle of the ultra-elite billionaire reptiles down there in Austin. I mean, the guy literally flies around in a helicopter around Austin with his mega-rich pal all the time there. He also has a bit in his most recent dumpster.
Big up American Redax saying... Big up American Redac. If you fly around in a helicopter, you're a weirdo. Oh my god. Sorry. If you fly in a helicopter, you're a weirdo. It's hilarious. I love that, by the way. If you fly, you're a creep. You're a weirdo.
Fire of a comedy special where he talks about his billionaire friends in Austin.
You really want to be safe? You got to make money. Yeah, I'm talking real money. You know what I mean? I'm not talking Austin money. I'm talking Dallas money. Yeah, there's a difference, bro. Oh man, I'm talking billions. My buddy's a billionaire. Ready for this? That's 1,000 million.
I mean, Bryan didn't get cornered into defending Epstein at all. He, in fact, shamelessly defends that.
Bryan loves a rich person, innit? Loves a rich person. Real big bootlicker for the rich. Makes sense, though. His dad's mega rich. Makes sense, but Jesus Christ, Calln.
That creepy circle with his chest out. And the craziest part is that he actually believed people would buy what he was selling here. And the more he talked, the worse it got. And that's what makes it so unbelievably creepy to hear. Like, it's not just that Bryan defended Epstein, but it's that he did it in a way that exposes how he really thinks. Then you layer in the Rogan connection, the phone call he had with Donald Trump, and the Austin billionaire bubble, and it all really starts to look like there's a pattern here. Like, these guys all protect each other, and when something ugly surfaces, they double down just like this, even if it makes them sound insane. Exactly. So at the end of the day, Bryan Callen's a deeply slimy and perverted individual. And honestly, it makes sense why his career's in the gutter now. Like, he's always complaining that he can't sell tickets and that he never made it in Hollywood, saying that he's confused because he's tried super hard for over 30 years now. But then when he says stuff like this, you know exactly why he didn't become a household name.
Nah, I think he didn't become a household name because he's inherently lazy. I think Calln didn't become a household name because he's inherently lazy. He didn't utilize social media well when he was coming up in the scene. He didn't really. He doesn't even have his own podcast that's lasted longer than 5 years. I don't think he changed it. You know what I mean? Like he stopped and started podcasting a million times, and he's just not the greatest comedic actor. That didn't pan out. Not the funniest person in the world. That didn't pan out. And it is what it is. I think most of the reason why he's not a success isn't because I'd love to say the reason why Calln isn't a household name is because he raped people allegedly, or may have done this, may have done that. I think he's not a success because he's inherently lazy, and he's just not that funny. Simple as that.
On the big screen. I mean, the guy's an alleged rapist and confirmed PDF protector. So now, whenever he complains about failing in life, just remember that this is who he actually is.
I did have a very famous...
That's okay.
I did have a very famous
we love you,
Hollywood
Bryan.
person tell me why he thought I didn't make it, which I won't say, but anyway.
That's mean.
We know.
Bryan, you made it.
It was interesting.
Bryan, shut up. You made it.
By all senses,
you had a sitcom.
I guess it depends what you mean made.
On sitcoms, three sitcoms.
Yeah, you were in movies.
And movies.
Bryan, you crushed it.
Yeah.
Bryan, here's your problem.
You're not Kevin Hart.
I bet that executive said that you didn't make it because of the allegations. And again, I'm not going to mention it. Yeah, that's probably why you don't want to mention it.
Behaves in interaction.
I always look at it this way. Like we were doing this thing and Ryan Reynolds, people were talking about how he gets hate or he gets criticized. And I was like, look, man, I don't know about that. I just know that I tried really, really hard to be Ryan Reynolds. I did. I tried my hardest. I was in acting class. I went on every fucking audition. I did okay. I was on a couple sitcoms and some movies and stuff. But for whatever reason, I'm not Ryan Reynolds.
For whatever reason. Just look at your face. For whatever reason. Oh, I love it. I love the delusion. For whatever reason. Google your gun. Yeah, big up, Wild Fan.
Joe Rogan becoming state radio is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Him becoming mainstream media is crazy too. Rogan becoming mainstream media is fucking crazy. But yeah, Google your name and then you'll figure out why you're not Ryan Reynolds. Google your name, please. Google your name.
You know why? I'm just probably in some ways, hate to say it, I think I'm really good at comedy, but maybe I'm just not as good, or maybe just for whatever reason I didn't do it. Maybe he was smarter in this other area, but either way, he's there.
Well, the reality is, man, there can only be like a couple of Ryan
That's fine,
Reynolds,
but I'm not going to hate on the guy because of it.
Thousands.
Why would you even mention Ryan Reynolds? That's a weird name to even mention, you know? Like, why is that the comparison? Like, you know, the delusion is strong. Why would you name like one of the, you know what I mean, most successful actors, richest, beloved? You know what I mean? Like, why would you go for that one? Why not go for somebody that's in your like range, you know, who's maybe working a lot more often than you are? Like, oh yeah, I'm not. Ryan Reynolds is your barometer. Ryan Reynolds is your like, your bar. Yo, you're not even close. Like, what? Like, that's not your. He's not a peer. He might be a peer because you're both in SAG, maybe, but that's not somebody you should be like looking at. I don't think so. If you're Bryan Callen, don't look at Ryan Reynolds, man.
And thousands of people that are trying to.
I did. I tried hard, man.
But yeah, just thought that was interesting as Bryan's Joe Rogan's right.
Because I do know, because I know my TFATK law. Because I got a fucking PhD and you know, whatever in fucking TFATK. I do remember back in the day, early on, Bryan did confess at one point his managers, his agent at CAA were gassing him up and telling him that he was going to be the next Tom Hanks. So I'm not too sure if he got his people mixed up and he's maybe just thinking, right. I do remember but he believed as well. He believed his agents when they said they were like pinning him or like, you know, trying to mold him, trying to get him opportunities because they felt like he had the potential to be the next Tom Hanks. Which is just as bad as Ryan Reynolds, just as bad. Just as bad as you think you're going to be the next Ryan Reynolds, is you think you're going to be the next Tom Hanks. Like, bloody hell, man. Bloody hell.